I'm in the parking lot of an Outback Steakhouse that has gone out of business, and I'm going to talk to you about something that's... Why is that an intro? As I mentioned, I'm here at the out of business Outback Steakhouse. It's now a Yee's Sushi. I worked at this Outback Steakhouse for 8 years, the entire duration of Outback's existence in Canada. There's still 3. There's one in Edmonton and 2 in Niagara Falls. They're owned by U.S. companies. Outback Canada, out of business. I worked as a server here. I worked at the restaurant. There's another restaurant called Moosinooski's over here. And one day, a bunch of us were disgruntled because we had to wake up at like 5 in the morning to cook a bunch of hamburgers for a picnic. And Outback opened a trailer right here in this exact parking spot. And they were like, now hiring for a restaurant that we're opening. And we were like, that sounds pretty good. So a bunch of us came over here, got hired at Outback. I was there from the age of like 15, 16 until I was like 23, 24. And that is relevant today because that's where I started building my photography portfolio. That as I was waiting tables, I was also building my wedding photography portfolio, as well as I was photographing a lot of bands and concerts and snowboarding, skateboarding, doing all kinds of things. But building my own portfolio, or the portfolio that I thought was the direction that I wanted to go at that time, or in the early days at least, it was that I wanted to be a snowboard photographer and or concert photographer. Concerts and music seemed to be getting a little more interest, and I was getting a few more opportunities for there, so I went a little bit more in that direction, and that was pretty cool for a while. What I wish I would have done, I spent a little bit more time building my portfolio in the wedding space. I was super young. I didn't realize that that's exactly what I wanted to do at the time. Even now, I guess, depending on what subgenre of photography you're in, weddings maybe just aren't that cool. And to a 16, 17-year-old kid at the time, definitely weddings weren't that cool. I saw that there was the ability to make money from them, though, and there were not a lot of opportunities for me to make money in other aspects of photography, at least the ones that I could potentially have access to. So that's kind of how I found my way into wedding photography. Not an elegant story that there was money there, and then it turned out to be really fun. The big thing that I would like to talk to you today about is the fact that building your own portfolio. So I'm constantly building my own portfolio. You might have noticed if you follow me on Instagram, you can do that. There's a link in the description below, or just type in Taylor Jackson, you'll find me. That I've been doing a lot of ski and snowboard content this winter, and that's kind of a callback to those Outback Steakhouse days a long time ago. But also it was kind of within the limitations of what content I could make this winter. Canada, we have access to that. I can't really travel internationally, so that was kind of maybe the forced direction. I was like, what can I do that's the most fun within the means given this winter? And that was it. What I've done, though, is I'm building my own portfolio again. That I left the ski and snowboard space when I was like 16, 17 and never really returned. So I don't know anyone in the industry. So this entire year has been me, or at least since October, November, has been me reaching out to people and being like, hey, I'm trying to make these snowboard videos. Will you help me out? Can I film you? What advice do you have for me? How do I get into this industry? And with the weird passion that I have for building this project now, that this kind of became my main project. Shout out Nikon, thanks for the assistance with that push. Basically what's happened is that I'm now just reaching out to people, and people are super down to collaborate, which is really, really cool. That I can bring some sort of value to them, and they are super happy to talk to me and to do something together because they see that I have skills as a photographer and a video creator. And a lot of people in the ski and snowboard space, they have to play that content game as well, so they need help with that. And there's all these collaborations that have just started to exist. Craig McMorris, for instance, like, I watched all of his shows. He's an X Games commentator now. They had a show on MTV for a long time, and he's just been this huge industry figure for a very, very long time. And I literally just reached out to him and I was like, hey, Craig, would love to do this thing together. We have a cat and potentially a heli day if the weather's good. Would you like to come out? And through that, he was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. This year I'm building a YouTube channel and I need content. So him and his filmer came out, and now, like, we've created this, like, I don't know, 4 months ago, there's no way that would have happened. Like, I didn't know Craig. I watched him on the TV, but I did not know him by any means. And now all of a sudden, that's come together, and from that, it's built portfolio and allowed me other opportunities to build my portfolio in other new and interesting ways. And from that, and from Craig and inviting Mac out, who's a skier but also an athlete manager at Red Bull Canada, basically what happened was that now I'm working for Red Bull Canada. So one, shout out Craig, and two, shout out Red Bull, because it's kind of that dream contract that I don't like to work for a lot of companies. I like working with Nikon because they give me kind of full autonomy to go out and create, which I enjoy. A lot of other companies that I've worked with are very challenging. Red Bull Media House and Red Bull Canada has been one of those brands that I have wanted to work with for a long time. And of the brands that I would want to work with, there's maybe 5. And they are at the top of that list. So it's really, really cool that in a couple of days from now, we are going to be working together and doing a thing. And what brings me to the Outback State Coast parking lot is actually I'm waiting for FedEx to open so I can grab some Godox AD 100 Pros to bring to that shoot. So there's a video with those coming up soon. I think I'm allowed to talk about those. I don't think I signed an NDA. I think those are already out, right? I'll verify before I put this on the internet. Building my own portfolio and just getting out there and just talking to people and getting stuff done and building shoots that are mutually beneficial for both parties has been the way that I've grown my business and the way that I continue to grow my business today. So if you are in the wedding space or you want to get into any genre of photography, just go out and just start trying to connect with people. I think the earliest that I ever, I guess, maybe dabbled in this, I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. I should verify this with my parents. And I wanted to get into go-karting. I thought that would be a very cool job. We went to the Indy 500 a bunch of times, and 8-9-year-old kid wants to get into karting. My parents don't have $2,000 to just like drop on a cart as well as get the industry. I feel like they probably also had visibility on the fact that if I wanted to be on like the F1 track, that's probably a $3 million commitment to get to that point. So they probably had visibility on that. So they probably were like, well, if we don't buy him a go-kart, we don't have to spend $3 million to put him to F1, because they definitely didn't have it. And what I did is I just started reaching out to places to be like, hey, I think I reached out to maybe 5 or 6 different companies locally. We wrote a script and I called them up on the telephone and I was like, hi, I'm a child and I would like to ride a go-kart and I'm looking for sponsorships. I'm trying to raise $2,000. Please help me. And everyone said no. No. Wayne Schuldeis, who does a body shop here, I think he offered me $50. And I'm like, well, I'm a kid, but I can't really do anything with that $50 because that's not $2,000. So I'm not going to take your sponsorship money for a cart that doesn't exist. But in that time, I was just relentlessly reaching out to people. And like that was way above my pay grade as a child. There's probably no way I should have been doing that, but it's really no rules when it comes to life. Like if you want to try to get that deal done, like you just start reaching out to people and they might say no and you might learn a thing. Somebody might say yes. Somebody easily could have been like, oh yeah, like my son is selling his go-kart right now and we're happy to sponsor you, and also we can just give you this cart kind of in exchange as well, and you can pay it back over like the term of all your winnings, all your GoKart Kid winnings, which would be probably 0. But back then, just like now, I really just have no shame reaching out to people. The same goes with if I'm reaching out to brands to try to do travel deals or to get free stuff to go and film. I really have no shame just reaching out to everybody and sending them. I would recommend find an email of a person to reach out to. Don't just DM them on Instagram, because sometimes that doesn't actually go to the company. It's somebody else managing it. But by reaching out to people, you just unlock all of these opportunities for yourself. So go out there and figure out who you want to work with in your local area. Find their email address, find a contact, find somebody that has a mutual friend maybe, and figure out how to make all those shoots happen. Because if you're not building a portfolio that you want to exist, you're gonna just kind of be pushed along. That in the very beginning, the weddings that I was shooting, they were not the weddings that I aspired to be shooting. And if I would have just continued to market those and stopped putting together styled shoots that maybe looked a little bit more elegant and were at different venues, I never would have found my way to my ideal clients, which is who I get to work with all the time now. So focus on building your own portfolio. And to give maybe one takeaway from this video, set up a shoot like next week. Don't be like, yeah, I'm gonna set something up in the spring, in March, April, May. Figure out what you can do, who you can work with, who you can involve this week, and put the wheels in motion to build something. I find that if I have like a time sensitive thing, even if it's something I gave myself, like I need to have the shoot done by Friday, it'll get done by Friday. But if I give myself a 4-month window, it's like not really that urgent. It'll just never get done. So give yourself some sort of weird urgency And like you can do this. We've done this in the past with gallery shows that we were like, hey, so we haven't done the trip yet to shoot the gallery show, but we're doing a gallery show, and that holds us accountable to ourselves and to go out and do that. So figure out a way to hold yourself accountable to creating your own portfolio and to building it. That's all from the car. That's all from the Outback Steakhouse parking lot today, or Yee's Sushi parking lot. And I'm going to go collect my Godox AD100 Pros for the Red Bull shoot. And you're gonna see that probably. I don't know. We'll try to do a video. It's a lot of moving parts that day, but Tim is with me, so we'll try to do a thing. That's all. See you next time.